Well, thank you very much for doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I love talking to people, getting people involved in SolForge Fusion, and especially meeting a fellow content creator. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say there was a few of us who were new, and definitely getting us involved, helping us out. You did a lot of that, which was very appreciated.
Well, thank you so much.
Have you been doing that for a long time? Or?
This is my first event as official tournament organizer for SolForge Fusion. I have volunteered at a couple of events prior, like in Minnesota, where I'm from. I also was a high school math teacher for about a decade, so I'm used to working a crowd and making people feel involved and doing fun stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, you definitely did.
Well, thank you.
So how do you feel like it went for running your first SolForge Fusion event?
This was great. I mean, everybody is coming in with excitement and with grace and energy for helping each other learn and things like that, that there are competitive levels to it. But this is also such a great community where people just want to be involved and have more people involved. So when that's the underlying kind of foundation for your game, it's a great place to start from.
So for day 2, we did a draft kind of partly sealed event.
Yes.
So what made you want to do that, and how do you think that it went for doing it for the first time?
Well, the development team at Stoneblade, they've got their mad laboratory, their scientists working on different ways to get people involved in SolForge Fusion. And they wanted to come up with a sealed style where it's a little bit lower point of entry. So instead of having 4 decks that you're paying $30 for, you're getting 2 decks and paying $15 for. You know, the math checks out there. But the idea of a draft is you're getting 2 half decks put in front of you, you keep one, and then you pass one to the person on your left. You get a new half deck, you evaluate, are these 2 going to be good dance partners? Maybe not. You take one of those, pass it to the person on your left, until you've got 2 half decks that you're satisfied with, or the only person left who hasn't picked 2 half decks to work with. Then it's a sealed event from there, so you'll match up against people that you probably saw some of their half decks and you rejected them, or you didn't see it and you wish you had it. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to get people around the table before you even start playing.
Now, it was kind of interesting only getting 2 options, and then you had to keep one and put the other one.
Yes.
Is there any variations of that you think you would try? Like maybe starting with 3 or starting with 1 of each and then passing and still only getting to make 2?
Well, that's what's great about this SolForge Fusion stuff is you can do whatever you want, how you want with it. There has been one that one of our rogue scientists has started to develop where it might be with 3, so we're calling that draft trident, you know, like 3 prongs or whatever.
Yeah.
Where you get 3 and then you're passing 1 or passing 2. And then when you come to the table against your opponent, they get to ban one of those 3 right off the bat, so you have to play with the other 2. I know, so there's a little bit of back and forth with that. It's a little more ruthless, and we didn't want to have it for such a nice, friendly environment like TCG Con Denver.
Yeah.
But that one might start to show up at other events.
Okay, the banning is pretty interesting because I have a lot of experience with Hearthstone. In a lot of those competitive formats, you bring multiple decks, ban, and then you have to get ready for the other decks. So having that ban aspect is pretty interesting. And I will say, I feel like right off the bat, there's going to be a certain faction that everybody wants to ban. Everyone's going to ban purple right off the bat. No, none of that allowed. But do you think that just for the first one, it went pretty well? We had, 12
Yes.
people, which was pretty solid.
Yeah, that's a full draft table is 12 people. You want numbers that are divisible by 4, so the decks get spread out evenly. I think it went really well that people were picking their decks and then being satisfied with their pairs very quickly. So that's nice when you don't have the same people just cycling through stuff. And then there's a certain level of autonomy you have with, I chose these 2. But also there's the randomness of this was kind of given to me. So it's a good kind of push and pull. You can't all blame yourself I should have brought better decks, or it's all luck. There's a nice balance there. And I hope something like this catches on because it can rope in new players. It can give another challenge to the really expert level players. And it's a great way to level the playing field and have that excitement for people of all skill levels.
Absolutely. Now, last question for you here. So you said this was your first event. What do you have lined up next, or is there something lined up next?
That's a really good question. I'm going to close in on camera 1 for a second. Stoneblade, if you're watching this, I really appreciated the opportunity you gave me, and I would love to do this in the future. If this was kind of a one-off and I was a mercenary, it was an excellent experience. I love going to these conventions anyways, but the more that I can use my talents and gifts to help grow the brand of SolForge Fusion and have players have fun, then that's what I'm all about. So we'll see what the future holds.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, like I said, this was my first event, and I thought it went great. I lost every game, but I had a blast. And as tournament organizer, I've done a lot of tournaments myself, playing in them or running them, casting them, and I thought you did an amazing job running this.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Your help and your enthusiasm for the event as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you again for doing this little interview with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Yeah, you're welcome. Take care.